Good morning, Coolest Coast. It is time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. And our special guest today is Wendy Hutterer. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina on this National Paul Bunyan Day. We're your hosts. This is Kristin Odell of KLO. I'm Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative Studio. And look, we have a special guest this morning. Wendy Hutterer is joining us because she is just coffee and coolness.
Shameless plug, right?
Hey, Wendy, welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. It's so nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. I was actually looking forward to sitting down and chatting with you guys because that's kind of what it feels like, right?
It is. Yeah, what a great way to start a morning. I'm always so energized after these conversations. So, Wendy, I know, so Kristin and I often talk about how we are mom-trepreneurs, right? We're moms, we're entrepreneurs, we've got the hustle, the work, but yet all of the mom stuff. You're not only a mom, you just recently became a grandma. And I think that is so exciting, so wonderful. Congratulations, first of all. What is that like?
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I can put it into words. I loved that little boy the moment they told me they were having, right? And that once they said they were having a boy, it just was the most overwhelming instant love that it just madness. It really, I can't even, like I said, put it into words. Other grandmas would talk to me about it, and it really is an amazing experience. And I think, when you're a mom, you have all that stress, right, of doing it right. I was a young mom and really, type A personality, and everyone's going to succeed and I'm going to succeed odds because people are saying that, maybe you can't. And, so I was like doing it all and really invested in my family and kids. But I don't know if I was ever mindful enough to step back and just really sit in it and experience that depth of that love that was there, right? It was there, but now it's like, I don't have to live up to any of those kind of standards of the parent. I can just love on this little boy, and I think he is, in my opinion, the absolute best baby in the whole wide world. I know people argue with me about that, but it is a pretty fabulous experience, and I can't understand why anybody wouldn't want to be called grandma, mima, nana, whatever it is. It's a pretty awesome thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes Jason and I will just stop and look at each other and be like, wow, we created a human being, right? Like the kid that's accomplishing stuff is like, that's because of our relationship. But I think to like next level it as a grandma, to know that a whole new generation, that just blows my mind.
Right. We kind of like to take a little credit for that. We're like, he's here because of us too, like I'll tell people we had a grandson and I will be corrected like, well, you didn't actually have one, but I'm like, well, I was part of the process.
By the way, Stacy Ryan just commented, Wendy Hutterer is such an amazing human, woo, woo, mom and grandma and friend. That is nice.
I feel the same about her. She is a great support in this life.
So, Kristin, what do you think about someday becoming a grandma? Can you already project that far ahead?
I mean, we definitely talk about it. We talk about, Wendy, I know you have to travel to see your grandson, right? So Doug and I have already talked about all the exciting places we'll go. We've joked, we have a camper, so we've joked that we're going to have 50 amp service at all the kids' houses so that we can pull up with our RV and hang out, and maybe not be in their space, but definitely want to be a presence and, be part of their life. And I just think it's cool. I appreciate you hearing, Wendy, when you're a parent, it's crazy. It's survival mode. You're just basically doing everything you can do to get through the day. And for a lot of people, that means doing work on top of being a parent and all that kind of stuff. And so to kind of have all that pressure off and, be in the moment, enjoy that little human, what a cool experience.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay. And so in addition to that, I think what's kind of cool, you guys, last summer, Jason and I got motorcycles and it has been fantastic. And then Wendy, we realized that you and your husband also ride a motorcycle. And then just recently, Kristin Odell's husband learned how to ride a motorcycle and now they ride two up together. So tell me your experience. What do you love about this?
For me, what It was for us. So my husband traveled a lot for work when our kids were growing up. It was like, madness, in a great way, but being a parent, as you guys are experiencing now, right? Busy here and there. So we really weren't as good as we should have been about making intentional time for him and I. We just weren't. We admit it. We embrace that. I mean, we were good parents. We, did a lot of great things, but we didn't always put the intentional focus on our marriage that people should. So when our youngest was, we'd been parenting that point about 25 years. Our youngest was ready to graduate. I knew I'd miss him, but I was super stoked. Like, I am like, I've done my time. We've made it. Like, I can remember high-fiving my husband, like, we did it. This is our time. And so he had always had a motorcycle, one that I really couldn't ride on with him. And he gave that up, which was a huge sacrifice for him because it was, part of who he was. And I appreciated that sacrifice. And then we got the two up and we started intentionally focusing on us. And so that Harley it's just a machine, right? But it's not for us. It was a turn of things for us where we started really focusing on our marriage, kind of coming back to us, and found out how much we enjoyed time together. And I was raised with motorcycles, four-wheelers, all that. So very comfortable on the back of it. I can drive one, but honestly, I, at this point, enjoy riding behind and watching the scenery. And it really is, it's far more than just riding for us. It's a way that we've started to reconnect over these last 6 and 7 years. So.
That's beautiful. So Kristin, what's it like for you?
That's so cool, Wendy. I love that. So I think it's similar. Our kids are not quite as old, but our kids are now capable of staying home. And so, for us, Doug especially is like grinding during the week and doing his job. And, for him, when he's on the bike, there's no phone calls. You're not using Bluetooth to take phone calls, and it's a way for him to kind of shut his mind off and find some peace. And so I love that he has that even in the middle of the week, even riding home 7 minutes, like it's just nature and the breeze in your face kind of stuff, which I think is really cool. And then it's given us opportunities. Like when you ride with your husband or your partner or whoever, like you're close, your bodies are touching, like there's a connection there. And like last Saturday, we got up, we rode his bike down to the gym. We went to CrossFit and did a workout together. We took a cruise all the way to TR, and then we came back and went for breakfast. And we had this perfect little date morning. And like we were wrapping up breakfast and our kids were just getting up. So it is important. Like I grew up where my parents went away and nurtured their marriage, and Doug didn't. And so we've really tried to kind of find these little spots to do that. And just, it's so good for you as a couple. It's so good for your marriage. And I know that it's going to position us well, that when our kids are gone, it's going to be like, we know exactly what to do.
Yeah. That's a great point. And you mentioned too, like hitting that point in life where kids can manage for themselves at home a little bit. That's an amazing turning point, isn't it? Where you don't have to be mom 100% of the time.
Right. Well, and it feels like such a treat. Like we were gone maybe 2 hours on Saturday morning. It felt like such a treat. Like we felt like we snuck away and had this little moment together, which we did. But it was rewarding. So
I have to tell you, I felt like the bad mom, like something wrong with me. So when our youngest was a senior, there were other moms like who were in the same situation, who were empty nesters, coming up to me like teary and crying, like this, like they were just really lamenting over like, what will we do next year? And aren't you so sad? And I said to my husband, am I broken? Because I am super excited. No, I'm not sad at all. Like I know I'll miss him, but I am like so ready for this next stage. So for me, I totally enjoyed parenting, loved it, loved being a mom. I was meant to be a mom, but I was ready for the empty nest and a little freedom. So, yeah.
Well, and I think it's good. It's like a good example to teach your kids too how to nurture your marriage and care for your marriage. Because having kids is messy, it's busy. There's a lot of decision points along the way that can create conflict, right? And so having those moments where you kind of get back to just who you are and what started it, it's invaluable.
Mhm.
So, Tina, how have you and Jason done that over the years?
Yeah, well, I think, the motorcycles is one way, right? Where it's time that we dedicate to ourselves and take away. It's funny because like when we would, especially when he was younger, when we would try to take time for ourselves, we would end up just talking about our son the entire time. I wonder what he's doing. Oh, did you see when he did this? Oh, and like, it's like, why are we even trying to be separate from him? So, so it's easier now, right? Now that we've hit that turning point where he can be on his own. I mean, now he's 18, so I don't really have to worry about him too much at all. And the motorcycles have been just fantastic for getting away, for having that wind therapy. I was talking to Doug the other day and said, "What do you like about it?" And he's like, "Just experiencing the world around me, like smelling it and seeing it, and as it goes by." And I completely agree with that. And Wendy, you and I were talking the other day too about with our relationships being intentional, right? That kind of nurturing it, like proactively being invested in it, proactively kind of renewing those feelings of love every day, right?
Yeah. Well, and I know I mentioned to Tina when we were kayaking, I actually asked her, I'm like, what's the secret? 'Cause I'll tell you, when I first saw Tina, the first time she reacted to her husband, when I was in her presence, I thought somebody was walking through the door that she had not seen in years. Like that's truly like I'm facing her, I can't see who's coming at her, and I just see her light up as this person is walking towards her, and her stand up to give him a hug, and I look, and it's her husband, and it was so heartwarming. Like it's just like that is an amazing thing to see that somebody have that kind of genuine excitement and love for their spouse, significant other. So it really truly has impressed upon me. I wish you could bottle that and I could have that marriage counseling when I do that. So
A true entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about that. So, here on this call this morning on this live stream, we are all entrepreneurs in our own right. And Wendy, I can see that you're sitting in this adorable, it's charming space, and this is kind of a new space for you. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing?
yeah. So speaking of the space, yeah, I people would ask when I would tell them about what I was intending to do with my counseling practice, like what's the space going to look like, and I told them I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I can tell you when I walk through the door I'll know what it's supposed to feel like. And what it should feel like is when you walk through the door, that kind of that kind of big release, right? Like, okay, I'm in a space where I can be secure, safe, accepted, vulnerable, no judgment, right? And I walk through the space, and I'll give a little shout out to Annette. She has been a blessing in this process. Definitely sent my way, and she has a knack for creating spaces. She does a wonderful thing, and she has been a significant part of this journey of getting me here that really shouldn't have started until like fall. So if you want, I can kind of start a little bit at the beginning and get into it if you want me to.
Yeah, I do, because you're also offering something really unique, a unique combination. And I don't want to give it away. I'll let you talk about it.
So I'll just kind of back up quick, not take much time there. But yoga for me was a foreign concept probably 5 years ago when I would run half marathons and I trained for that. And I was a type A personality. And if you give me something hard to do, like if I'm going to work out, it's going to be hard and I'm going to feel exhausted at the end of it and sweaty and my heart racing. And, so when people would ask me about yoga or say trying it, I'll be honest, I was terrible. I would be like, lay on a mat for an hour? No, if I'm going to work out, I'm going to actually working out. Like, so I had some clients that started asking questions, and I don't like to speak to anything that I don't know much about, and I don't want to give them my bias on anything. So I'm like, okay, I can go and I can start attending a few yoga sessions, which I'll just jump forward, just started developing into, wow, this aligns so well with counseling. Like I have to get some of my clients into this. It's a great way to down regulate your body when it's anxious or upregulate your body when it's depressed. And it's about emptying the mind and taking kind of some back a little bit of control of it, of the garbage that's inputted. I try to explain, I was trying before I started doing yoga to explain the same concept to people. And then it just really became much clearer to me through yoga, this idea of just because your brain thinks it doesn't mean it's right. Remember, all that input that goes in there isn't just from you. It comes from all these outside sources, people you don't even trust, right? These inputs, it's just like a computer that continues to store all these things, that develops these ideas, and then believe them without questioning the why, right? Like that our brain is somehow, and our thinking is out of our control. So I was already kind of doing that in my counseling practice, but yoga then kind of really gave me a much better insight on how to do that physically, how to get people the tools to do that. So it just kind of landed on my heart. I'll say that's how I look at it. I feel if I look back through my career of things, my path has been guided and doors have been opened when they need to. And this here has truly been a strong example of that. So I knew I should somehow combine it. I had learned through, using my own tools in my life that sometimes you have to sit back and wait for the right moment and really trust when it feels right. And I knew I was looking to get trained as a yoga instructor, not to teach yoga, but to combine it with my practice. And that just landed exactly when it needed to. The two teachers teaching it, we're going to do it here in Manitowoc. Great. I was surrounded by great people and two teachers that were exactly what I needed and answered the questions I needed answered. And it's been a great fit. So that was the first door that was opened, and then I walked through it and committed. And that was, like on top of a lot of other things that were going on, but it's like all systems go, like move forward into this, trust the process and the plan. And I did that. And then I'm like, okay, in September, like this September coming up, I will then start to work on getting this together. That's my plan. There was a very different plan for me. So I had some people approach me like, hey, you're talking about this. Have you done it? I'm like, oh, I don't have a space. That was my comment. Don't have a space yet. And then sweet Annette approached me actually and said, hey, I've got this space. And I remember you talking about what you were going to do. Why don't we meet and see? I think you'd be a great fit. I want some people in there that are going to serve the community well and in a way that it looks like you're going to be. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, okay, what, like dollar, right? I mean, she was so generous with the space, landed open. It was like an obvious yes. And I'll be honest, things just started moving forward. Progress Lakeshore came into my path just at that time with this training. So I'm like, okay, I should probably go to that. And it just all really started happening, unfolding in the way it probably was supposed to. And it is developing quickly. And I am confident that I'm in the right place, in the right space, and serving my purpose. And I am excited to hopefully reach some people and have reached some people that I can give them the tools to live this body of kind of the whole body wellness. So that's it's not overly creative, but that's the name at this point, Whole Body Wellness with Wendy. So my practice has always been focused on whole body wellness, mind, body, spirit, in alignment, serving all three, kind of a commitment to your wellness. And how do we serve those three things in a great way? So this, just like I said, was a really nice fit. Yoga is focused on all three of those too. And for the people I have brought into this space and served, you can just, I truly love it when people walk out with their shoulders back a little bit more and their head raised higher, because they have felt that they've been heard and accepted, and they've dropped something here that they don't have to carry with them through the door. And I'm very, very passionate about that. And not in my space, my other space is serving in a way that I don't know if I'll fully let go of, because it has its purpose, and they're reaching people there in a different way that need mental health services. But this feels very, very right here. And not just right for me. I'm hoping that it's going to be right for the people that I can meet with here and serve, and that they can feel my investment and my passion for wanting to help in a really profound and great way. Not because I'm that great, but because I have been blessed with the opportunity to serve this way and been given what I need to share with others. And that's what I think is very important for everyone to remember, is that when we're given great opportunity, it is not meant for us. It is not meant for our egos. It's really meant to how do I serve with this, right? And I feel very fortunate that all the doors were opened and I'm going to be able to share this space with others. So.
Wendy, that is so beautiful. You are such an incredible inspiration, right? For having a dream, first of all, finding your passion and dedicating yourself to pursuing it and being aware of the doors that open for you, right? Like, that's such an important takeaway, that because you are dedicated to something you're passionate about, something you believe in, something that's true, you want to be helping the greater community. And so as these doors open, you fearlessly have gone through in pursuit of your dream. And I'm just blown away.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. Yeah. So now that I'll collect myself here a bit, which is great. That's good. It's good to be genuine. And I want people to see that human side and know that I'm as messy as anybody else, right? That when they come through the door, that they're dealing with a human being. But so I want to share just this also. So this is a rough draft, but I'm sharing it. So this is a logo in process for me, so which has been happening quickly. And I just want to talk about the butterfly and the mountain and why it was important to me to have them as part of my logo. So mountains have always spoken to me, and I love the profoundness of walking up to something that is just so massive, right? And just takes your breath away and reminds you that, right, you're just kind of small, but in a good way, right? Like that there is this greatness out there that you can aspire to greatness. You can that climb, right? As we climb, as we struggle, we rise, right? That idea of it, like the symbolism of the mountain. And then the butterfly, though I know it stands for rebirth, and that's a great part of it. What I really love about this story, like of the butterfly, is that they have to struggle extremely hard to get out of their cocoon, extremely hard. And if someone sees that struggle and they're like, oh, let me help that butterfly, I'll open it up, they actually hurt them, because the whole idea of the struggle is to help them strengthen their wings so they can fly. So they fly through this, right? They learn to fly and they strengthen themselves to fly through that struggle. And whenever I hear that, I just think that is how I hope I lead. I want, I do a lot of empowerment therapy, and I help people recognize that I can be a catalyst, but they do not need me. Like, as soon as someone says, I couldn't have done this without you, I meet it very quickly. Like, you absolutely could have. I just helped you recognize what was in you and given to you right from day one. So, right, like, I don't have any magic potion here. I don't have anything that I can wave my magic wand. I have none of that. You've brought all that you have within you, and all I did was help bring it to birth, right? And help you see and recognize it. That's what I've done. So I just love that idea of people embracing that it is okay to struggle. It is absolutely okay to struggle. Actually, it is in your day, you shouldn't only be thankful for the blessings, you should be thankful for those struggles, because that is where the real growth, the real strength happens. And it humbles us. It teaches us grace and compassion for others, right? It makes us human. And it builds these strengths within us that help us just fly, right? So I just wanted to share my logo, because that's the message I want to get across to people, that, this life and coming to me isn't about me helping you create a world that is trouble-free, but it's about me helping you build the tools, strength, and be empowered in your life to be able to meet every struggle that will inevitably come your way, because they're coming for us. And that is okay. And you will be okay. And we're going to give you the tools to meet them. We're going to help empower you in your life, so you've got this and can move through it and be better after the storm. So yeah, so the logo is meaning a lot, and somebody wonderful working with me on that. And they're, listening to my many suggestions as they give me one more. And I'm like, what about this? So I appreciate their grace and patience. So yeah, I just, I do. I want people to come here. So it's not always going to look like a yoga class. Some people are a little confused about that. It'll definitely be counseling based. I will be, I've been a counselor for a lot of years now, and I'm definitely going to be using those tools and assist people, but we're going to kind of integrate or engage yoga, maybe moves, breathing, things like that as needed, as it best applies to everybody's situation. And I'm kind of toying around with maybe an occasional kind of group yoga that may be faith-based, kind of based on that be still kind of idea, for those that are comfortable with that. I don't know, but that'll all come. It'll all develop as it's supposed to. I've had some people from the church I go to actually ask me about that, interested in something like that. Could you do something like that? Like I said, so in my opinion, I hear my maker talking in my ear and sending people my way, like, hey, keep moving. You're heading down. Keep your ears open. So yeah.
Wendy, if somebody is interested in working with you, what does the process look like to get engaged with you for an appointment? And are you cash based or is it billable through insurance?
Okay, so those are good questions. So the practice I have now is insurance. I do not right now have I'll be honest, I don't have the time right now to do the credentialing and thing of insurance. But what the good thing is about payment is I am licensed. So being licensed, I am able to diagnose, and I'm actually able to bill out an invoice. So what it could look like is a couple things for you. You can definitely use your HSA, health savings account, for any service that I provide you, and I'll provide you with the information you need to support that. And I can also provide an invoice with a billing code, a diagnosis, everything you need to submit that to your insurance. So it would look like an out of network though insurance claim, but you could do that. And I'll be honest, even in network, insurance companies don't always cover a huge amount, right? There's usually always some payment, even at my other practice, for people. So so there is possibility for coverage. It's cash based when you come, and then I try to give you the tools to be able to get reimbursed for some of those dollars. And right now, like I said, things have just been kind of moving along, but I do have information on an Instagram post, or I can also give my number on here if you guys don't mind me sharing that on here for people to reach out if they want. Is that okay? Or
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Probably the best thing too, Wendy, would be for you to drop it in the comments after. So if somebody sees the show, then they can find, if you have a Facebook page you want people to message you at, or a web page, or whatever your preferred contact is, or if it's an email attached to your business, you can drop those in the comments, and that way everybody can go back and reference those after the show today.
Perfect. I'll do that then. How about that?
Perfect. So Wendy, you have dropped some serious wisdom on us this morning. This has been such an awesome conversation.
I really enjoyed it. I do really, actually, I do other radio spots and presentations and stuff, and I do it enough that I don't get super nervous, but a little. But honestly, this morning I was just excited. Like, I'm just going to sit down and talk with the girls about what I heard. So this is just a really nice feel. It really is. Yeah.
That's what Tina and I think every week when we talk. We just talk like nobody else is listening, but then we find out people do listen. So, and I really love Wendy. I know you're sharing that space with Teresa Falvey and Stacey McDonald. So I love Teresa's little shout out to you. I thought that was so sweet. So you're sharing that spot with some amazing women.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely.
And entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That's cool. I didn't even realize that connection. Wow. Wow. Cool stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Good things in Manitowoc.
I love it.
Sure.
And then before we sign off, Wendy, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I just have to share this adorable picture of Kristin and thank her for helping me celebrate our grad. I really appreciate you having fun doing that, Kristin.
That's adorable.
Yeah. and I don't know if you have them handy, but so Tina and I are not on next week. We have decided to take an unpaid vacation day for but there is a ton of activities going on. Fourth on the Shore is going on all day on the 4th. There's a parade at 10 a.m. downtown. There is bands and music and food and activities basically all along the lake shore. I think certainly from the wharf all the way down to the yacht club. And there's music all weekend. So I have a link to a poster actually that has everything on it. But enjoy the holiday, be safe, celebrate 4th of July.
That's right. I'm glad you reminded me. In my mind, I still cannot believe that 4th of July is next week already. So, right, Kristin and I are taking a break. There'll be no Coffee with Kristin and Tina next week, so you can all go out and enjoy the time.
Yeah.
All right, Wendy, our guest this morning was Wendy Hutterer. Thank you so much for coming on and just authentically sharing about yourself, sharing your energy and your enthusiasm and your passion, and being a great example for all of us. Definitely put in the comments how people can connect with you and learn more about what you're doing. We really appreciate you all watching Coffee with Kristin and Tina. This is Kristin Odell of KLO. I'm Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative Studio. And a huge thank you to Just Orthodontics for supporting this show. We will see you next time after the 4th of July on Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.